for joining this morning for our Career Connect Northeast Leadership Team meeting. And like I said, we're kind of hosting hybrid. So we have folks joining from all over our region online and here in person at GSI in downtown Spokane. My name is Cassie Peterson. If I haven't met you, I'm the Career Connect Learning Manager here at GSI and Career Connect Northeast. And this is my partner in crime.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Christy Harder. I'm the VP of Education here at GSI.
So we'll just do a quick little spin around introduction, and then folks online will come to you. So we're going to start here in the room. And a quick little housekeeping rule for us in the room. These little speakers, if you wouldn't mind just making sure it's on green when you're speaking, and then just make sure it's on red when you're not, so we don't pick up any background noise. So I will go clockwise here. So Jason, I'll toss it to you.
So I'm Jason Trozine, just joined Machinist Institute, so I'm still learning different things about that. But yeah, Tuesday was my first day. So
Awesome.
Justin Thode, I'm with the Washington Army National Guard, and I'm the education partner for Eastern Washington.
Rob Revis, Spokane Public Schools CTE Director.
Jessica Dempsey, ESD 101, Career Connected Learning and CTE.
Jenna McDonald, Director of Eastern Washington Area Health Education Center.
Nora Brelstead Thomas, Program Specialist for our Middle School Equity Program at New ESD 101.
Bobby Wall, Career Connected Learning Program Specialist, ESD 101.
Shannon Demont, Regional Director for College Success Foundation.
Grant Twitchell, I'm an education consultant supporting near-peer mentorship within the region.
Dawn Bayman with KSPS PBS.
Angelia Savage with KSPS PBS.
And Jason Miller, also with KSPS PBS and the Career Explorer Initiative. So
I'm Mark Metke. I'm with the Spokane Workforce Council.
Jennifer Chase, I am new to the CTE team in Central Valley School District.
Karen Hay, I'm the Director of CTE and Secondary Curriculum, Education, whatever at Central Valley School District. Happy to have my new partner in crime.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, we will go to the folks on the screen. Shanna, I see you. Do you introduce yourself?
Yeah, good morning. Shana Peshek. I'm the Executive Director at the Machinist Institute.
Pause, hold on. Sorry, we cannot hear you. Let's see here. Make the audio. Sorry, thanks for bearing with us. I think it's that.
Want to try again, Shannon?
Okay, can you hear me now? No?
Do you remember what?
Third time's a charm.
All right, now?
Oh, it's only on here.
So we're still working. Go ahead and introduce yourself and we'll keep, if you don't mind talking, we'll work through the speaker piece.
Sure. Shana Peshek, Executive Director at the Machinist Institute.
Okay.
Okay.
And I can't see who else is on there. Participants. Okay, Brian in Curlew.
Brian Freeman, Superintendent, Curlew School District.
Okay. Thank you. Erin.
Hi, Erin Vincent, Associate Director at Launch Northwest.
Oh, man. Okay.
How about Jenny?
Hi, I'm Jenny. I'm from Hughes Marine Company in Colville, Washington. And I got the opportunity to be on this group because I just retired after nearly a quarter of a century with juvenile court. So I have a huge heart for kids and I'm really excited to be part of this group.
We're still working on technical issues on our end. Sorry about that.
I don't know why that one wouldn't be it. Dang. Okay.
I'll keep working on it.
Okay. Ryan.
Ryan Burns. I'm with Comac Coil Manufacturing in Colville, Washington. I was kind of nominated by upper management to kind of join the group. And it's also a really good opportunity, I believe, to kind of just raise awareness of the types of careers that are out there on the vocational side for young students, right?
Awesome. Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate you being voluntold and being here. Kristen.
Good morning. I'm Kristen Goff with Wendell Ford Nissan in North Spokane. And I'm looking forward to participating and appreciate being invited.
Awesome. Thanks, Kristen. Kathleen.
Hi, I'm Kathleen Proud. I am at New Tech Skill Center, and Carrie retired, and so she kind of dispersed her responsibilities to other people. So I get to fill her seat here.
Great. Thanks, Kathleen. Jessica.
Hi, I'm Jessica Gertis with the College of Medicine, also known as College of Medicine, WSU, and I am the manager for outreach and mentorship.
Thanks, Jessica. And who have we missed? Sorry, we're still struggling with technology over here. Go ahead and unmute if we missed you online.
Hey, Brian Burrow here. I am the Workforce Development Director for a new organization called Frame Your Future, focusing on the residential construction pipeline here in Spokane. We just had our official press conference last week. And I apologize for the weird background. I'm fresh out of surgery here after having my knee worked on. So happy to be here though.
Oh man, well, thanks so much for joining us, Brian. Appreciate that. Is there anyone else online that we missed?
So my name comes up as Tammy on your screen, but my name is Tatiana. I work for Associated Builders and Contractors. I am in charge of our education department, and I am a part of our workforce development. So trying to bring the trades and what we do to students and kids in our area.
Great. Thanks, Tatiana. Thanks for being here.
Hi, Cassidy. This is Diane Lashinsky. I just came on a few minutes late. Hello, everyone. My name is Diane, and I work with Project Lead the Way, a STEM curriculum professional development organization. We have many programs pre-K to 12 in the Spokane region, and we've been working for the last couple of years specifically on a Career Connect Washington grant project with biomedical science teachers and local industry, and bringing the base credential to the region.
All right. Thanks, Diane. And thanks everyone again. Apparently technology just doesn't like us today. So we can vaguely hear you guys online, but not everyone in the room will be able to hear you, unfortunately. So if you need to unmute, we will do our best to relay your message to the group here. And Christy's going to keep troubleshooting over here. And then also please use the chat setting too online. That would be great. Okay, so here we go, rolling with punches. I just wanted to do a bit of groundwork, setting kind of the stage. I know a lot of us know this information, but I think it's really important with some new partners around the table of reminding each other why we're here today, what's the work at hand, kind of setting the stage for this new school year that we're embarking on, and reminding each other that we're all part of the network. It's not just us as Career Connect Northeast here at GSI, it's everyone in this room, online, and folks that aren't able to even make this meeting. So just as a general kind of overview, Career Connect Washington is a statewide initiative to essentially bring labor, education, business, community leaders together to create programs for young people to explore, learn, and earn degrees, college level credit, trades, apprenticeship, go right into the workforce right after high school, you name it. We want to talk about all pathways equal to students and young people for our state. Because really over the next 5 years, our state's going to have 750,000 new career opportunities, and we're not necessarily set up to be well equipped for our upcoming younger generations to fill all of those with the qualifications that are needed. So we do have the talent right here, of course, at home, but we need to make sure that we're building a connected system to place all of those young people and our current workforce in those necessary jobs and those careers. So we're trying to bridge the gap between employers and educators in a more systemic and connected way than it's been done before. So that map right there that you can see, there's 9 regions across the state that Career Connect Washington is kind of divvied up.
You could see.
And we are the Eastern region. We're the largest footprint in the state. So we cover 7 counties, and we'll get into that a little bit later too. And then there's 6 other regional networks. There's 6 other Jessicas, which we'll get into in a second too. It was all legislatively mandated. And then there's a lot of other dollars that are going out to create new programs, and we'll get into that as well. Just go to this one.
Go ahead.
Thanks, Tatiana. Okay. Pause, Zoom, quick pause, share screen. I need to share it though. Come on, computer. You know, it's a lot easier to just host an online meeting, but then we don't get to be in person and see each other's faces. Okay, here we go. So this guy. Okay. Okay, so a little bit of more context. You guys will get this slide deck later, so if you want to read it again for your benefit, you totally can. But really in 2017, Governor Inslee was really behind this effort to implement this in our state to create real world employer-based learning opportunities. So really starting introducing our students when they're early, young years, years in elementary and middle school to the career opportunities around them, and then building off of those experiences at young years to create hopefully more intensive, more immersive experiences once they enter high school, which are called kind of career prep and career launch opportunities, which we'll get into in a little bit as well. So all of that also includes, you know, apprenticeships, pre-apprenticeships, those types of programs that have been around for years, but it's also creating programs that may look like apprenticeships and pre-apprenticeships, but necessarily aren't registered in that way. So it's kind of creating all of these different levels and these different types of programs for students and young people so that they can be introduced to careers, so that they can be immersed in careers, and then hopefully find their kind of path that they are passionate about. This is kind of the problem that Career Connect Washington set out to hopefully fix with all of us as partners and networks. We had, 40% of our students that are on track to gain a credential or degree beyond high school, but really 70% of our jobs require that. So we have a gap that we are working to fill through this system build and these program creations through all of us as network partners and across the state. This is kind of just a nice visual. Again, a lot of us are familiar with this, I know, but I wanted to put it up again for a reminder. When we talk about levels of experiences, it's really starting at that base foundational career explorer level. Ideally, that would be at elementary or middle school level for students to learn about careers, go on a worksite tour, have a career fair, have someone come and talk to them in their classroom, a professional, about their career experience, really just explore the various opportunities. The next level up is career prep. So that's a little bit more intense, usually earning some sort of maybe CTE credit or some sort of worksite learning. Of course, all of our CTE classes and courses have done this for years, but it's just kind of identifying and putting a broader label on career preparation for students and young people. And then the tip of the spear, I kind of like to think of it as this point of the triangle, is career launch, because we're not going to get qualified, high quality career launch opportunities without building the foundation of explore and prep tenfold. So the career launch is kind of that tip. Not every student will necessarily experience a career launch. That would be fantastic, but it definitely requires a lot more components to make it a career launch. So you need to have the worksite learning, you need to have the aligned curriculum, and you need to have a young person earning some sort of degree at the end or credits towards a degree or certificate in the industry at the end of the program. So ideally the career launch is, I would say, 16 years old and beyond. Career Connect Washington kind of defines their audience as 16 to 29-year-olds. Of course, it needs to start younger with that, like we were just talking about for Explore opportunities. So that's kind of where we're talking. We don't necessarily end at 18, of course. We want to make sure that we're getting young people plugged in even after high school. This is a little bit more of the same thing. We'll skip this slide. You can reread it if you'd like to on your own time. This is a little bit of a busy graphic, but I just think it's important for all of us to kind of see ourselves in this system build of Career Connect Washington. Whether you know it or not, you're part of Career Connect Washington is basically the end all be all. There's, of course, all these different players and circles that are really important and critical to make this effort happen. K-12, higher ed, government, industry, labor, employers, and then the colored in circles that you can kind of see, the green and blue colors, those are specifically financially tied, like fiscally tied to the Career Connect Washington initiative. So regional networks, for example, us being one, CCL coordinators, Jessica and her team being one, program builders. Those are a lot of us partners around the table, which we'll get into here in a little bit. Those are some of the dollars going towards partners in the state to create programs. And then there's sector intermediaries too. There's about 9 of those across the state that are tasked to bring industry partners together for overall strategy. So we're all a part of the system. Okay, just a quick reminder, as a regional network, yes, GSI and Spokane STEM formally, we're now Career Connect Northeast. This is what we're really tasked to do, is to be kind of that hub for career connected learning opportunities in the region, to communicate those opportunities, to align the work and the program building with our region's economic needs, to help build and scale this system in our region, to kind of be that communicator and that convener. So that is why we're all here today, and that's why we meet on a monthly basis. Okay, so I know we already did a quick introductions, so we don't necessarily need to go every single person around the table again, but it would be really great to kind of hear and popcorn around as you're able to jump in of just some maybe activities that you're involved in this summer around any career connected learning programs and or activities that you are a part of planning this school year, really more with the perspective of how can us partners around the table and on the screen, of course, how can we support each other and how can we help build these activities, programs, events, you name it, for students this school year and beyond. So we can just kind of popcorn around if you're involved in planning something, if you need help, if you could just kind of shout it out here.
I'll just lead with, if I could, yeah. So this year, Wade Larson, of course, from Wake Staff has been the architect and the chief, designer around this, but had a production academy once again. It's on. And so we were partnered with that. And of course, a number of school districts as well was held at East Valley and they had satellite sites. And so another successful way to get kids engaged in manufacturing and production over the course of the summer for a few weeks. And they all got paid at least, I think, $1,500 stipends as well. It was, so very successful. They craft, they make products, they engage in fabrication. They're in a real production environment. And then at the end of it, then they do get a paycheck for all their work. So it's great. It's continued over the course of time and continues to build and expand and looking to do more of that. Hi, Jenny. So yeah, another summer for that. It was very successful and just happy to have been part of that ongoing academy.
Brian Freeman, can you hear me?
Yes, woohoo.
I am working on getting approved a work-based, and I'm just going to read it from, it matches the governor. A work-based program that's aligned with classroom learning that culminates in a post-secondary credential. And it would be part of a registered apprenticeship program. That's the governor's goal for 2030. And I'm struggling to do that today. So I need support in how can I work with Job Corps, which is providing the instruction in pre-apprentice programs so that I can not only claim it for work-based learning, but they can also use those courses for a pathway to graduate from high school. And so we have a lot of internal within the K-12 system, we have barriers that we create ourselves. And so if we're going to meet this goal, we're going to have to eliminate barriers.
Thanks, Brian. That was, yeah, super helpful. Completely agree. The barriers are unfortunately there and they come up every corner that we turn. But having hopefully a collaborative kind of set of brains around this table and the screen can help push this program forward.
Well, we've been working with Hub on the Unlock Your Future event that's coming up, and now trying to figure out with our new transportation manager how to navigate buses and bus drivers and kids. But that's coming rapidly around the corner in October.
On the over here at KSPS on the Career Explorer side of the house with our Career Explorer Northwest initiative, we had a very busy summer of highlighting about 9 or 10 additional careers, which will be on the website for those using those types of videos. And the data behind that for those careers, we're excited to say that our 100th career will be launched here probably the end of this week, which is a lady archaeologist who's also Native American. So it's really nice to bring in those types of diversities and have other have students be able to possibly see themselves in those roles. So the Career Explorer Northwest tool continues to grow and expand. And I know we have other news around that later, but that's some of the work that we were doing this summer. We also did a career pathway on Job Corps. So we're working on building some of those career pathway videos so that those can be used in classrooms as well. So we'll continue that work.
I'll just pipe in here. Angelia is going to present on our Media Makers internship program, but one more thing on Career Explorer Northwest, and that is we are looking to hire a half-time person to help us market this within the schools, to let everybody know what it is and how to use it, and also to give us feedback on what we ought to be doing it, because our biggest challenge is getting metrics on impact. And so we're going to be doing that. So if anybody has somebody in mind who could do a good job with that, please let me know. Dawn Bayman.
Let's connect after.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
I think we vision this person, being able to go out and do some implementation in schools, as well as at Boys and Girls Clubs, community centers, and that kind of thing, to be actively with youth where they are and working them through the tool for exploration.
So something with ABC is we do a summer in construction, and it's a week-long course for kids just out of high school. We pair with NCCER and do their core curriculum. We teach them the OSHA 10, first aid and CPR, and other things that'll benefit them within the construction industry. And this year our problem was we had no students sign up. We go to job fairs and we see interest from kids, but it was getting the kids here to go through this. And then our companies are willing to hire these students at the end of this week-long series. So our hardest thing is just getting the word to the kids and getting them here.
And Tatiana, can you remind us, was that 16-year-old plus, 18-year-old plus?
It's 18. So it's like finishing high school, senior year, right after.
Okay.
Yeah, Justin Thoe here with the Washington Army National Guard. So one cool thing that we have coming up October 25th, we're going to be holding what we're preliminarily calling the Next Greatest Generation Career Fair. This is going to be kind of unique and maybe not like some of the other career fairs that we've had in the past. Couple big things for me on this event is making sure that everybody in the region is invited, and then that there's not that bandwidth constraint on local employers that are participating in this event. So we look forward to holding this maybe a couple times a year, having the same employers show up every time, but it's going to be hands-on experience with 17 different career fields that are represented. As an example, so the Washington State Patrol is going to be one of our employer partners that are going to be representing law enforcement. they're going to have a mock traffic stop set up where a student will actually be able to run through that traffic stop with the trooper, decide whether or not to write a traffic ticket. And then they'll also have their dispatchers on site as well, where the student can call on the radio and call on the plate and the license information. So kind of the idea behind it is, myself, growing up throughout middle school and high school, I always had these ideas of what I wanted to do, but it was primarily consisting of, how much money am I going to make or how difficult it'll be to get that career. But actually getting my hands on and trying different careers throughout my adult life so far, I've realized having that hands-on activity is so important. So getting that in front of high school students is our goal. Might be kind of weird that the military is involved in planning this event. And again, my role with the Washington National Guard is education partner. We intend on keeping students here in Washington State and having them grow, through their education and careers here. So look forward to hearing from any of you guys that are interested in participating in that, or school districts that would like to attend as well. So that will be October 25th. And then the time frame will be from 9 a.m. all the way until 7 p.m. With priority to schools between 9 and 3 p.m. And then it'll be open to families, guardians, and college students between 3 and 7 p.m.
Well, in Spokane, there are a number of activities that we support. I don't see it on this list, but career construction days that we partner with AGC to host at the fairgrounds is in the fall, open to all 9 through 12 students. Do both hands-on and informational sharing about the construction trades in the Spokane region. We're working with KSPS on trying to line up kids to do their internship opportunity. We were partnered with Project Lead the Way and WSU and the Biotility Group coming out of Florida to bring the BASE, which is the Biotechnology Assistant Credential Exam, to Spokane region into Washington State. We host a testing site every spring. We have in the past done a precision technician apprenticeship through AJAC out of our aerospace engineering piece. We have not heard from them yet this fall, so I'm not sure where we are in that process. We have a apprenticeship through the culinary arts with a number of restaurants in the Davenport in town. Trying to think what else we're doing. We did get a new automotive instructor, so we're looking for some connection and help to build that program. We need to do some significant work in the shop. It's been a museum for about the last 10 years. And so we need to modernize it, bring it up to par for kids. Shadle. It's the only one we have in the district that still has an auto shop. And I think there's only one other in the Spokane area. It's UI. So there's only.
If you don't count us, Rob.
Well, that one, yeah, but you're not a comprehensive high school. You guys have that whole
That's true.
skills center. So they do have a complete auto program. It's at the skills center. But in the Spokane area, I think there's only 2 comprehensive high schools that have one. And then I'll let Kathleen, they have a number of apprentice programs at New Tech that they can talk about.
Yeah, we do. Thanks. Sorry to just plug us in. No, we did add a parts department to our automotive program this summer. So that that has its own separate framework. So we hired somebody who's great. And so the students will be getting a full comprehensive, all the students in collision, auto tech, and then one of our auto tech programs is now a diesel hybrid program with the hope, depending on capital project funding, to get a full diesel program in there. And so the parts teacher has been added to those programs so students have a full comprehensive look at the auto industry. We also added a surgical tech position or program in our health sciences. So now our health sciences, we have nursing, medical assisting, dental assisting, pharmacy tech, surgical tech, and as well as veterinary assisting. Our pharmacy tech teacher is awesome, and she's, it's really hard to get kind of apprenticeship because they have to be 18 and they have to have their pharmacy tech license. And some of those students aren't able to get those until after they graduate, but she was able to work with Rite Aid to do a job shadow. So if anyone knows of any other pharmacies that are willing to do is kind of a job shadow, that would be great. We also added within our medical assisting a EKG tech certification, as well as for second year students, a 10-hour internship with Providence. And our surgical tech is also partnered with Providence. We hired somebody actually from there. We contracted with them, and they will be doing 200 hours of internship work at Holy Family as part of their one-year program. So that's what we got for medical. We added another construction teacher, so we are expanding that program. So now we have a year 1 and a year 2. So the year 2s will probably primarily be out at the project house entirely. And I don't know where we're at with securing that. It's not that's not the department I oversee. So so yeah, we've got lots of good things, and we have a new director this year. He's just an interim, but he does work with Rob at the district office, and we're really trying to kind of hone in that we are your application-based learning. All of our programs have industry recognized certifications associated with them and or college credit. So so getting those students to get to Shadle and, you know, exploring the auto tech and then coming here and actually implementing those skills and extending those skills to get those ASE certifications is our goal. That's all I got.
Thanks, Kathleen. And thanks everyone for those updates. Noelle, I see you on, I don't know, sorry to put you on the spot, but I do know that Avista is launching their new craft trade student program this fall. And Lauren, our partner at Avista, emailed me this morning saying that she couldn't be here because she's prepping for the students to start on Monday. But Noelle,
she was just here.
Or Kathleen, perfect. Could one of you just overview really quick that new program through Avista for students this fall? Maybe Noelle's not able to unmute. Kathleen, would you mind just sharing a couple snippets?
Well, from what I know about it, though we had a couple students hired through Avista for a full, the student she was talking to this morning is from welding, and they opened up some programs, or they opened it up to certain programs, and students will be doing their school time there. As far as I know, I don't know a whole lot. That was kind of Susie's project to get that going. So I don't know if anyone else can speak, and Noah could speak to that. But yeah, so Lauren was here meeting with students and getting them ready to go out and work instead of being in class, and they get paid, I believe. And I can't remember how many hours off the top of my head. Threw me on the spot there. Sorry, but that's what I know. We'll know more next time.
No problem. Thank you. Yeah, it's just exciting to see a local employer putting this investment into a student program that, yes, like Kathleen said, they're going to earn, I mean, similar to the Wagstaff and the Avista summer programs, but during the school year, they're going to earn credits, they're going to be paid, and they're going to get this on the job experience. So a career prep kind of career launch opportunity. And I believe, yeah, Noelle with Davenport, I think Davenport is plugged in, and then obviously with students at New Tech. And I think there's a couple more rural districts. So that's a really cool new program launching this year. Okay, if there's any more updates online, you guys can pop them in the chat, but we're going to keep moving here just for the sake of time. Just adjust this screen one more time. Just minimize this. Okay. And we're going to keep going with maybe a slideshow here. There we go. Okay, so just a couple quick updates on our end from the regional network. So many of you have been around a long time to know us as the Spokane STEM Network. It's been about 10 years. Just with the recent kind of shiftings of being a Career Connect Washington regional network and things at the state level. And STEM is of course important, but it's a part of the larger conversation. It's a part of career pathways. We have made the decision to kind of shift our name to Career Connect Northeast. So we are the Career Connect Northeast Network, and that includes us here, yes, at GSI, but also of course, Jessica, Nora, and Bobby and the team over at ESD 101, because we're the network in terms of covering kind of the geography of the Eastern region. So just so you know, we kind of still have the STEM logo floating out there because, as you all know, marketing takes time, but that will come, and we're just excited for that more kind of collective name and reach. We are also, as a part of all of that, and would love Christy to speak to this, but we're hiring another teammate here. We'll be the Career Connect Learning Specialist working with the 18 to 30-year-old population directly. So Christy can share any more.
Sure, it was
about
just
that.
connected. This position is much of a replica of the previous position that Jody had, in conjunction with Greater Minds, which is a national association. So we have updated our membership with them, still want to connect with them, use their supports, needs their outreach and their model. But ideally doing that navigation piece between the 18 to 30-year-old population, because the funding that we got for this position comes from Career Connect Washington still, and their reach goes to the 30-year-old population. They said if we go beyond, but that's really their focus from middle school basically to about 30 years old. So just had a great interview. So I felt like, sorry. And if you have other people that you find that would be interested in the position, it's 50 to 60,000. And we would have some great candidates. Excited to get some more team on.
Yes. And a lot of you have known about our workshops as well. Business After School and Teaching Teachers been around for 10 or 15 years. We are kind of taking this time to reinvent them a little bit. They have been, they've served a purpose, but as we all have heard and see, there's a lot of events and career fairs and those types of efforts going forward, not only in the Spokane region, but across our entire Eastern. So we want to kind of help support all of those and not try to create these one-offs that look like they're competing. So we might host a few business after school ones, like at Wagstaff, for example, that usually pulls in around 100 kids, which would be awesome. But we're not going to host small ones that have like 10 students at one business or 3 teachers. And we also know that subs are really hard to come by right now. So it's hard to get teachers, to come out of the classroom during school hours to attend our workshops that we have historically held at businesses for professional development. So just know that those are in a little bit of a transition. If you guys have ideas, we're all ears. We're just wanting to we want to serve, of course, our community as best as possible and not try to create all of these different one-off little things that, yes, did serve a purpose, but it wasn't reaching the ultimate greater segment of students that really should be reached by these programs. And then just the last couple of things, in July, we hosted a Program Builders 101 session. For those of you that might have joined us, the purpose of that was to really go over all of the finite details of Career Connect Washington funding. If anyone was interested in applying for a Program Builder round, the most recent one just closed a couple weeks ago at the end of August. We plan to do more of those. Not exactly sure when the next one will be, sometime this fall. The next Program Builder round will be released in November, due in December. We'll get into that a little bit later on, but just so you know, we're wanting to host and put on more of those opportunities so you all as partners can learn about, hey, yeah, I want to apply for this funding that can be up to $150K to build a new program. Here's all the details that you need to know. So we hosted one of those and we'll host more of those going forward. And then back to the purpose of being the communicator for the region, we are starting a monthly e-newsletter now that the school year is kicked off again. So we'll send that later this month and then every month. If you have events or things for teachers, students, community, career connected learning, kind of tied into that, of course, please send them our way because we do not come up with this content magically. We need all of your help to kind of fill that. And ideally it would be spread to all of our partners in the Eastern region.
Can I just say something to that?
Yes,
for the communication efforts and hearing it from all of us, especially the program that had 0 students attend this summer, and it's a great opportunity for kids. We need help in marketing, so we have dollars for it, like literally funding from Career Connect Washington and WASDEM to do marketing outreach. So we'd love to partner to do a big outreach collectively together, which is why we put together I'm so excited to have so many people here that ran out of grant materials,
Yes.
which is why we're putting this PDF together. We've got this posted on our website. I hand it out like candy at every meeting that I'm at, but it's not enough. So if you have ideas around who to outreach with and or partner with, we would love to do commercials or advertisements or. We have that kind of funding that we want to be really intentional about doing it for all of us collectively around the idea of what career connected learning looks like and can be like, and pathways. Pathways have been around for 15 years with the CTE work that we've been doing forever. But now we're getting more buy-in from business. Thank you, Wade, and our other business employers that have been really great partners around this. However, our kids and our parents still don't know what we're talking about, and our teachers don't necessarily either. So we want to come up with a big plan to do this intentionally. So part of today's work, and thank you to those who posted inside of the round 9 applications for the CCW funding. We don't want to like submit applications that are going to compete with each other either. So we should have done this earlier when we were going through the CBO convening that we did here, and who was applying for that. But looking at round 10, let's partner more intentionally so that we have the pathways collaboratively built, maybe at different grade levels and or apprenticeship levels. And yeah, so we'll be reaching out for your ideas around how to communicate better or more intentionally and a broader outreach to an entire 101 region. As well as state, we're asking for a CCW and Washdown to help us with it. Again, a lot of people don't understand that Washdown is working from early learning up through employment. That's their focus. It's not STEM education like it once was 10, 12 years ago when they started. It really is the gamut of the growth from what we do to get kids kindergarten ready to what we do to get people that are employed and or into our post-secondary opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, yeah, thanks. And really quick before I toss it to Jessica and her team, yeah, just a quick just reminder, like Christy said, this little non-fancy sheet is just a quick little dump. And for those of you online, we're looking at the spreadsheet of events for 2022, 2023. That was in the attached email. This is just a starting point, of course, of what we know that's going on this school year. There's plenty of others happening. So if you wouldn't mind letting us know, because the end goal, like Christy just said, is to communicate. Like no one knows what they don't know. And so we want to make sure that we're having kind of all of the different types of career opportunities, career exploration, career fairs, career events, those types of either, day-long things or a couple hour-long things listed all in one place. And it should not just be Spokane focused, it should be our whole region. So for example, Jessica is in communication with the Whitman team down south, and Garfield Palouse is putting on a career fair. So we want to make sure those types of things are on here. So please let us know what's missing, because we want to use this as a launching pad to remind folks and partners of what's going on. Okay, enough of me. Oh, yes, thank you. And one last thing that's tied into communication points is the CCW directory. The state has, I'm going to try to show this. The state has built their own, yeah, I'm not going to do that right now. Built their own tool to essentially house all of these career connected learning opportunities across the state. And you can go in and filter by zip code. You can filter by level. So like Career Explorer, Career Prep, Career Launch. I have a couple screenshots of it later on that you can kind of see how this tool works. But the end goal being that we're not going to create our own tool by any means for our region, because there's already one created at the state level, but it's only as good as we make it. So it's only as good as it's populated with events in there. So for those of you that are hosting events like career fairs, and Justin and your team to put those on there so that it's searchable and findable by students and parents and community members is the ultimate goal. So I'll put that in our reminder or our follow-up email so that you guys have that easily accessible, but that has been created at the state level. So we're not looking to create a new tool by any means. Just need to use it.
Do you have data on who's accessing?
Yes, good question. They do have it. I don't have it at my hands, but I know the state team has that because it would be good to know where the barriers are.
How is that information being filtered to students and parents? Because I can tell you, they're not looking at newsletters, they're not reading email. Put something on Snapchat, I think.
That's what we need. Yeah.
But that's.
Yeah.
Instagram.
That's good feedback.
I mean, that's the best research in marketing I have found is to pull in a broad section of kids, not the leadership team from a high school, but a broad section of kids to really, yep. And it's got to be it's got to be instantaneous. And the one complaint that I've heard over and over from parents from districts is, you either get the over communication or I didn't know about it. There's nothing in between. And, we're trying to cover all our bases and how we communicate with parents. And still then you get the people who said, I never saw it. And then you get the people over here, you send it so much, I just ignore it anymore.
I'm thinking we partner with what you were trying to do with your media outreach person. So.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Something, that we learned from a previous event we did this last spring, we called it Guard Your Future, but it was more geared towards, students that were interested in the military. We had an expected turnout of 300 people based on numbers that counselors had gave us, and only 60 people showed up. And we probably dumped about 30 grand into that event. So that was a bummer for us as well, but talking with Karen, Jessica, and other CTE directors and school districts, some of them didn't even hear about this event. So I really like that CCW directory idea and definitely want to utilize that. But I know for a lot of employers as well, just when they put effort and resources into these events, not having that turnout is definitely hard for them to commit that, the next go around. So.
Jessica, how do you get 1,000 people to get to your need?
I don't know if we had a good plan.
There wasn't a plan.
It's just the fact that there wasn't anything else similar to that. And so I think that helped. But really, what it came down to was pushing our, at that time, lead school district counselors to try to get the word out to kids. So we had those future ready counselors that then they work directly with those grade levels to help get the word out. And that helped. I think that's one thing we haven't talked about yet, or at least what I've heard yet, is I honestly think our number one target should be our counselors. And how can we infuse ourselves in those counseling meetings, in those counselor trainings, and there's regional and area trainings. We need to get involved in those because they're our mouthpiece, good, bad, or otherwise. I'm now in a new district. I now have I hate the name, college and career readiness coordinator. And we're going to change that name as quickly as I can. And then, but his focus is still college. And it's like, he and I have sat down and had several conversations already. It's like, well, no, we got to get them to sign up for FAFSAs. It's like, well, yeah, that's great. But regardless of going to college or not, what are they doing after they're done with college? They're looking for careers. So if we can talk about career pathways, it doesn't matter if you go to college or not. You still have a plan, and that's what we're trying to create.
It was Wednesday morning. I'm not sure what they were doing right now, but I got the opportunity to be on the T24, which is our regional technical 2-year, 4-year committee, and they are the ones that plan all the college fairs for each of our schools, high schools. And I asked them to get onto their agenda for October to share with them, the list of items that we've got and ask them for their advice. And that's part of our work that we're required to do through CCW funding that we received, is to connect with them. So our hope is to be able to have this in full for that meeting with them. And then Cassidy's got a plan to invite them to the October 5th hub event too. You want to share a little bit about how we want to connect with the.
This is one area that would love all of your help on. Karen mentioned, the Unlock Your Future event is for middle school students. The goal is to bring in about 1,200 of them throughout the day on October 5th. Regional, multiple districts that will be represented, but the end of the event, which will be 2:30 to 4 p.m. They're really wanting it to be educator targeted. So all educators, K-12, that be teachers, that be counselors, that be admin, that be principals, you name it. All K-12 educators in the region will be invited to this, and I'll get out the information to you when it's all finalized and looks pretty. But it's a time to just connect with all these employers that will be there. There's about 60 confirmed businesses that will have a table there. Again, really focusing on those that don't require a 4-year degree. So it's medical healthcare, construction, manufacturing, and trades, I believe, are kind of like the 4 buckets. But yes, the end goal at the end of it is to try to bring educators in to it's kind of a free for all. Here's the time, here's the industry partners, you connect with them. And we want to leave them with resources, of course. So that's where I will be asking for all of your help and input of what should we leave the educators with to take home. But that's, I mean, exactly to Doug's point. I think counselors is a huge focal point.
We're still gonna have to hold their hand in that process.
Yeah,
I,
would love your ideas. on that.
well, you know, and it's interesting that T24 picked that week
Yes.
to do stuff. And I think that's when I'm looking at this, I mean, there's some phenomenal events that are coming,
It's hard.
but we need to do, I think, a more intentional effort on when we plan things, because when we're pulling and we've got buses, I mean, well, Rob, we've had this conversation too about transportation is huge. But that I know nothing about T24 and I've been with Central Valley. This is my 3rd year. And I'm like, where are the CTE directors who most districts, I'm paying for a counselor in every building to focus on that. And I was caught unawares that it was that same week until one of the counselors said, hey, you want us at this, but we have this. And I'm like, well, that would have been good to know 6 months ago. Yes, yes. But I found something else as an overlap. But to focus, like Doug said about counselors, what I've learned I was previously at Lake Washington School District and ran a skills center. So I worked with the 7 East King County school districts, and our biggest gatekeeper were counselors. And I don't mean that always in a negative way. I mean, they were who helped us get the kids that could most benefit, but they do have that college focus. They all put on 2 or 3 night events to help parents and students navigate the college process. But when you pull the data on ERDC, right? I get it mixed up. The percentage of our kids going versus the time that's spent on career pathways versus college there's an imbalance. And I think it's trying to figure out how to communicate and get them to kind of shift their focus so much.
Well, we have
Same
to
thing with
remember.
pathways.
Yeah, we have to remember, right? Counselors and teachers alike went to school, went to more school,
and went back to school.
Then went back to school. So it worked for them.
Yeah.
Right. And so they feel like that's what works for everyone. And that's not true. And so we have to help change the narrative. But I do think, I mean, they are our biggest gatekeeper, mouthpiece, whatever you want to call it, good, bad, or otherwise. And we got to be able to start utilizing them in our favor. And I don't care, like, I'm willing to pick one of my counselors and focus on one that I think has the right mindset, that then I can that sounds bad. Manipulate that one to understand, like, there's another side of this.
Re-educate.
Sure.
An educational opportunity.
But then have it then work its way out, and those ripples work its way out to the other counselors eventually, because once they see what's happening, they'll start to change their focus as well. But I mean, I'd hate to say it, we just need a crack in the door, right? Once we have that crack in the door, we can kick through it. But we gotta
Working
crack.
together versus
Absolutely.
all these different entities.
So is that like a meeting you have with counselors, or an event that you host for counselors, or what do you? Like,
Sure.
what do we do?
Yes.
Could be anything.
Yeah, I mean,
Can I be included in that?
Who is that?
Because I mean, what Doug is saying and what Karen is saying is absolutely accurate. And it is, I mean, it is so hard. At New Tech, we check all of the boxes for pathway requirements for students. And we have so many opportunities here. And I just wrote in the chat, like, there are so many counselors that either see us still as like a dumping ground or for those kids or whatever, when electricians make how much more than I do. And also just, I mean, working with, so we have 11 different districts that we work with, and sometimes just even getting a superintendent on board and the messaging that they have within those districts to those counselors to kind of help that. I mean, I have to fight every year to get into a school and talk to kids about the opportunities that we have for them and the industry partnerships that we have. And so if you decide to do a counselor meeting, can I come?
Yeah, and see, I would only want to have, honestly, this sounds bad, but those of you that know me, this is kind of how I work, a selected few in that meeting first.
Yes.
Because I don't want to have them all because it'll be a bitch fest and I don't want that. I'd rather get the targeted group that we can say, listen, you've been selected because you have the right mindset. And now let's talk about how we can work together to get something started, as opposed to trying to change the perspective of a counselor that doesn't have the correct mindset yet. I don't even want to deal with them yet. I want to piss those people off because once they see what we're doing, they're going to want to be a part of it. And that's where we want to get there.
So I'm thinking is that we hold that in Bill Close's shop, and we suit them up in welding up, and we go have them weld for a half hour first, and then we go have the conversation.
It does have to be an application based where they can see how this is beneficial to students, which is not going to be hard to do.
Yeah.
So, but at the ESD, I would assume they host a counselor monthly.
Well, there's the Inland Northwest Counselor Consortium that meets. So I got you to.
No, I just wondered, I'm wondering about where we CTE directors meet, but I didn't know who's the group.
That could be a good one to start, actually. Say, hey, listen, we're doing this. If you're interested, like, come to this other room and we'll talk to you. And just leave those that aren't interested out.
Let's do a conversation.
I think there's a.
I don't want to talk to you either, Karen.
But I think, I just want to understand the makeup, because they have their professional group, right? And
Well, Diana Harrington at the ESD, who I work with, is over the counselors.
Yeah.
So I think that's where we start. And she's middle school and high school counselors, because here's my thought, and my team's going to talk about this soon. High school's too late a lot of times, and we need to be having conversations sooner in the middle schools. So I don't know if that segues into what we need to be doing, Cassidy, but there's an importance that all the counselors understand it, not just our high school counselors. Because if we start conditioning them earlier to understand that the pathways can go multiple ways, like automotive can go to SCC, they can do an apprenticeship, they can do construction at SCC, or they can go to ABC and do it. I think that's part of the disconnect too. They only know one, if they know something, it's only one way.
well, and they don't know how to navigate, you talk about the apprenticeship programs that are out there.
Yes.
Okay, I couldn't even help my son 10 years ago. I was like, who the hell do I kept calling all these different people. I couldn't get any help. And I think we need to map that out, as well as how do they help kids navigate? They know how to navigate college because they've been there. But how do they navigate all these different paths?
Well, that's part of the work that I'm doing. And you and I've talked, I think that if we partner, and I'm looking at Ginny because you have apprenticeship folks that truly understand this, plus all the non-apprenticeship pathways. I think we could bring together some, I'm gonna call it the choose your own adventure books. That's how I view this. It's a choose your own adventure. And we say, oh, go to page 8 if you want this, go to page 10 if you want this adventure. That's how I view this.
So leave that in elementary school.
Yes.
I would also argue the fact that I think we should all of our districts have a summer camp, summer academy, summer whatever for elementary kids, right? And I say this a lot, but it's got to be, we stole it from Spokane, right? When Lisa White was there, when I was at Meade, we're going to start one in East Valley this summer. But if we get kids, the Apple model, right? Apple says if you get devices and younger users, they'll be lifelong Apple users. Well, if we do the same thing in the trades and get them exposed at an earlier age, then when the kids do get to middle school and high school, they'll say, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Counselor, why can't I do this? Right? Because now they've been exposed and understand there's pathways for them. So I think we can talk about two different ways of doing this. One is the counselor piece for sure. And the other one is really attacking our elementary kids and exposing them at an earlier age to help change this shift as well.
Because we do at SVT, the STEM camps for our elementary kids that are wildly popular.
And at that age, it's not about like, oh, why would you want to go into that? It's like, hey, this is fun. This is cool. It's like, we'll keep that. And then by the time they get older, it's just something they're doing.
I know a few of us have already talked about surveys and the importance of that as far as tracking the data, but for our event specifically, having that beginning metric of knowing how many students are interested in what career fields or if any, what colleges they're planning on going to, what areas they might be relocating to, and then tracking that after that event. I know, and just hearing from Jessica and Doug, and Karen as well, as not having the participation of every school district, but the ones that do come and support that and help us really pull this event off. I know that data that we'll capture, we'll be able to go back and revisit with those counselors and say, hey, you didn't invite your students, or you guys had said we're doing this T24 week instead. Here's the metrics that we captured before and after, and this is what this can do for your students when we redo this event in April. So Ben Small, I know is got a survey project going on that I'm looking forward to hearing about. And I know Nora and Jessica are as well, but my background, on the civilian side is in digital strategy and data science. So looking forward to kind of helping with that. And if you guys need help with that as well for your events, by all means, please reach out. I'm happy to help.
Shanna, I see you have your hand up. Did you have a comment?
I did. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
So, when I supported the building trades for 13 years, we did pathways to apprenticeship events and things like that for counselors and teachers year after year. And one of the counselors said, when I consistently hear from the employers in the trades that they want people with some maturity and they really probably won't hire anybody until they're more in their mid-20s, then the counselors are like, well, I can't really, provide that as an option. I need to know what an 18-year-old can do the day after they graduate. What can I help them get a job in? And so I think part of this is, really having the employers at the table for this, saying, yeah, we realize we will hire younger ages now, so that we can kind of change that narrative. And also, I mean, a lot of the counselors have such heavy caseloads that just getting them to graduate is a lot of work to do. So I'm just putting that out there, that we've tried, at least on the building trade side, do that and to raise awareness. And it is super easy to share about colleges. It's easy to fill out the forms for enrollment. Apprenticeship is so complicated and has so many layers that even working in it and running an apprenticeship and supporting it, I get it. Like, I've described it as an onion, that every layer you peel off, there's another layer and you're crying at the end of it. And it's just not the easiest thing to provide guidance on to somebody. And so there are some, cool websites out there that will show videos, but I agree with a combination of getting students younger and getting their hands on stuff and getting them excited. Somebody said giving them the fever for the flavor about some of these, and then they can come back, and putting some of this on, students as far as researching, because talking about apprenticeship as if it's one thing, when it would be like, do you want to go work in the medical field, or do you want to go work at Costco, or do you want to go work in IT? I mean, it covers so many different things even in the trades, and they need to know if they like heights or confined spaces, or, there's a lot of exploration kind of activities and fun stuff they can do. But I do know that just in working with counselors for so many years, they do have some valid points about why it's hard to do a very robust job at helping students look at that, especially if it may not have a job for them right away. So just wanted to make those couple points.
Thanks, Shanna. Yeah, very important to know. I wish we could stay in this conversation forever. I know the time is ticking though. So thank you for all your comments and insight. We're going to keep moving because we have a few more things to cover just before we break. But again, thank you just for everyone's comments and thoughts. And that is nowhere near from ending that conversation. Sorry, I'm just trying to get my screen back over here. And Bobby and Nora, I'm going to turn it over to you if I can get this to work. Okay. So Bobby and Nora, Jessica and their team can introduce themselves, but really why we wanted them to kind of talk today here is because this is work happening in our region through the ESD 101's team, all related and tied to Career Connect Washington funding, of course, and efforts that are on the way. So I'll let you guys take it away.
Sure. Thank you, Cassidy. Good morning, everyone.
Speak up.
Oh, hi, I'm Bobby Wall. I'm the new program specialist for Career Connected Learning, implementing the medical assistant pre-apprenticeship pathways. So my background in healthcare for 18 years, dual credit and CTE experience is what brought me into my current position. And My primary focus is implementing the medical assistant pre-apprenticeship pathway, identifying participant barriers, creating descriptions of resources and supports, and developing a plan to eliminate barriers. Program development. Thank you for the slide. I appreciate that. Including providing support to participating employers, district high schools, and students, of course. And then collaborating with industry partners, including New Health, Providence, and Washington Association for Community Health. So thank you. Nice meeting you all.
And this is where I can step in. The collaborators and the supporters that we have working on the MA pre-apprenticeship, we're hoping will also lead or continue their support with for our middle school work, which is what I am helping initiate in the schools for implementation. I'm the program specialist for our middle school equity program, which really speaks to everything that Cassidy was sharing earlier in regards to the exploration component of CCW. And so this program, what we're hoping it will do is it will broaden the concept of education for middle schoolers, and then will ultimately lead to further connecting what's happening at the middle school as far as introduction to trades into the high school. So connecting what's happening in CTE in high schools, I guess, backwards to the middle school, and then again, branching into the elementary school. So really looking at this long-term, although this is a pilot. My background is in TESOL. Before I was teaching English to speakers of other languages, before I taught English at the university, and I just, in every capacity I was at, I continued to recognize the flaws of our education system. And so when Jessica told me about this position, I thought I have to get on board, because I just think that what CCW is really trying to do, right? It's not necessarily just helping these students fill slots in our future, but it's also helping ensure that each of these students is finding what they want to do as they move about. And so just started this position really about a month ago. We're very much in the early stages of implementation. We're working with our industry supporters such as Silver Star, so thank you, and All Star Glass, SCC Automotive Program, Vector Electrical, New Health, and AHEC, of course, with Jenna McDonald. Right now, we're super focused on developing the actual curriculum, and we're doing this, and Justin's helped us kind of understand perhaps what aspects we need to be asking of the districts so that we can make sure that these modules, they're not just a blanket curriculum that we're providing them, but they actually are reflective of the district's needs. And then, of course, at the same time, making sure that all of our stakeholders, so our key partner, our key districts that we're working with, East Valley with Doug, Colville, Garfield, Palouse, La Crosse, and Kettle Falls, that we're all on the same page as we go about this, even for personalizing it as much as possible. So we look forward to updating those of you that are interested on both of our pilot programs, and then hopefully seeing what ways that we can connect and collaborate as these continue to flourish is really the goal. So thank you. Do we have any questions? I think it's our last slide. And our contact information is up there. I think Bobby, you're still waiting for our business cards because we're very new.
I have some.
Oh, do you? Okay,
Yeah, I have
so Bobby has some. My contact information is up there, but if anyone has any questions or any ways that they would like to contribute, please let us know.
Excited to have you both on a team.
Thank you.
And you were at ESD, right?
Yes, so yeah. Yes, I was so fed up with education and teaching. I moved to administration only to realize, no, I want to kind of get back in there, but be halfway in. So excited.
That's awesome. Thanks so much, Bobby and Nora. Excited to have you on board. Okay, the last little bit of our time together, just wanted to kind of hear some updates from our program builder partners here on the table and on the screen. And just as a brief reminder of what program builders are really charged to do around the state. This is basically really it, is to develop new programs, to scale and to expand programs, develop the curricula, focus on creating those pathways that ideally lead to that next step. So career explore to career prep or career prep to career launch. There's no necessary set number of program builders per region. It's every application period that opens about 3 times a year. It's open to any and all organizations that want to apply. And the best ones that apply get chosen. So it's not like 3 per region or anything like that. About 13 to 20 grantees are selected every round. Like I just mentioned, the most recent round just closed end of August. We'll hear at the end of September who's awarded. The next round will be opened in November, due end of December, and so on and so forth. So we're going to hear from our partners here in just a minute. Just as a reminder, one of the other handouts that you have, folks online, that was attached to the email, folks in person, this is the handout of on the front page is programs that have already been developed. So partners that have been awarded in the past. And then on the back side are our current programs in development. So our current partners who are actively in contract with Career Connect Washington and the ones that we're going to hear from today. So let's see, I think I have Shanna Machinist Institute up first, if you wouldn't mind unmuting and just literally a couple few minutes. I know we're running at the end of time. So just a kind of overview of, students being served, kind of looking forward to this school year and how us as partners can help you in your program.
Yeah, so we've expanded from 2 to 4 career launch programs covering advanced manufacturing, aerospace, and also heavy equipment mechanics. And so this summer we are working very closely with Wade from Wagstaff, and he did his academy. And then we are working with Spokane Valley to identify some students who will work through release time during their school day to work at a couple of the manufacturing employers in the area. And then during another part of their release time, take some additional content to build on what they've already learned during their skill center time in manufacturing that aligns with our recently recognized pre-apprenticeship program, which the overarching acronym is a Machinist Institute Career Accelerator, unless it's youth, and then it's a youth academy. We got to have a million different acronyms depending on who we're serving. So those students will be working towards getting their Certified Manufacturer's Associate Certificate through our curriculum and that pre-apprenticeship, and then also working with some employers in a paid internship. What we're really hoping to come out of this also is more of alignment and dual credit for students, both into our apprenticeship programs and into the community college programs. So anything that we're doing, we're trying to just make sure we open as many doors and pathways as possible for students. And then, have a great partnership with New Tech, where we are using their space and bringing in equipment right now, so that we are hoping to be offering even more programs there. And excited to have recently hired a new director of the region who's in the room there physically with you. And so get to know him. We're happy to have Jason on board, and we are hiring a full-time employer and project coordinator. So really trying to invest in the region and build these relationships so that we can serve more students.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Shanna. Any questions for the Shanna or Jason and team? Okay, the next one on the list. So WABS, Washington Alliance for Better Schools, they're technically located on the west side, but they were funded to do and expand work both in King and then Spokane. So I asked Rob Revis, because they're closely tied with the Spokane Public Schools this year, to develop this nursing pathway. If you could just give a highlight.
So we're working with the WABS group in 2 areas. One is what they call the CNA to RN pathway through Providence, targeted for BIPOC students, those they identify as furthest from opportunity, to start a summer internship as basically what they call a sitter in the St. Joseph's piece, and then work on their CNA. Providence is guaranteed they will keep them employed and continue to support them as they work their way into an RN position. So working out some of the logistics on how do they do the classwork that it takes to get the CNA piece. I know Providence is working on their own kind of internal university. We've been in conversation with SCC trying to figure out how we make that work. And then the other one is a new one that is a STEM launch where they want to do after-school STEM clubs in the elementary and middle school. The middle school one is called Build Cool Stuff, that I think we can fold directly into our existing CTSOs in the middle school. Elementary is a little different because we don't have a funding mechanism for that one. But basically it's they do all of the legwork to bring in business and industry reps to come and do hands-on activities that are STEM related with kids. At the elementary, I think they're 4-week units, and at the middle school, they're 6 to 8 week units that they plug in at different times of the year. So we tried to launch last year, but we ran into some logistics with Providence rolling over their computer system. So we missed the application window and didn't get kids. So we're going to launch earlier this year to get the information out to kids so that they have a lot more time to get into that pipeline. They're trying to do 10 students per year. So after the first year, it would be 20, 10 in their second year, 10 in the first year. And they're thinking that by the end of the second year, kids should be in the pathway if that's what they've chosen to do for an RN. And then like I said, they're guaranteed to keep them employed during that. So and then tuition reimbursement or tuition front loading. So the cost of attending the training to become an RN doesn't become a barrier.
That's
Probably we're going to Providence,
Midge Rigsby.
we're meeting this afternoon on a healthcare pathway.
That might be it.
Those people are coming.
Oh.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Meg Lindsay. Meg, sorry. Sorry. Yeah, Meg is our contact with Providence.
And the first year is the summer after their junior year, is that right?
Yeah, they can apply and start the summer after their junior year, and then they would continue in the summer of their senior year. Hopefully somewhere in their senior year, get into that accelerated learning pathway to get the CNA. So when they graduate, the goal would be either they have their CNA or shortly after they would get their CNA so they could continue to do that work.
Great. Yeah, thank you. New Health, Lindsay, I think I saw you pop on. I'll toss it to you.
Morning. So just a quick update on the medical assistant pre-apprenticeship. We have been working with several different school districts who are really interested in this program for the current school year. The one that we've engaged with the most as far as for getting our initial students enrolled is the Colville School District. And so New Health, Providence, and ESD 101 will be going this month to the school to give a presentation to a class that their CTE director has been working with. It's a group of students who are all interested in a healthcare pathway. For New Health, hopefully we'll start interviewing some students for the pre-apprenticeship this month with the goal of starting them in October. And Cassie, I don't know if you had a chance to share, we have started developing marketing materials for the students to just help them understand what is the medical assistant career, what's the pre-apprenticeship, and where could that career take them. So we're really excited as this continues to move along. And also super excited to have Bobby on board at ESD 101 supporting all of us as we're developing this new career pathway.
Awesome. Thanks, Lindsay. And yeah, I haven't shared the flyer, but I'll include that in the follow-up email. So thanks for sending that over.
Great. And I'm happy to take any questions.
Any questions? Okay. I'll toss it to Dawn and the KSPS team.
I wanted to introduce you all, although some of you have already met Angelia Savage, who is our new coordinator for our program. So Angelia, take it away.
Okay, well, we are just on our build out, so we're doing everything we can to establish partnerships within the community. We've met with multiple people, such as Jeff Haidt from KHQ, who's actually extremely interested in the program. He was an intern at KSPS back when we did have an internship program years ago. And so with that partnership, we're hoping that the interns will be able to go from our program into their program, and then they'll do an internship program with them also, which may lead to a career in the field. We're also working with the different high schools. Right now, we're working on actually making the connections with the teachers and stuff in the high schools and building our curriculum. And we would like to include the teachers in the internship too. So when the students come in, we would like to bring the teachers in also. And we're working with new ESD 101 to determine how that's going to be beneficial for both the teachers and the students getting their credited credits that they need. Sorry.
That's fine.
And we are, after the curriculums, or we're working on the curriculum, we have found space within our building that we're going to be able to put the interns at, and we are looking into getting the equipment for them to use. And so with the needs assessments that we've done, we've also asked what type of equipment are you working on and what should we have in our facility to be able to make that transition very easy between us and a new station or wherever it's applicable for the intern. And we're working on the advisory committee. So we have a few interested people. And if anybody here would like to be a member of our advisory committee, we would appreciate that too, because you're all very intelligent. So thank you. And hopefully we'll have that first meeting next month, we're thinking. If we can get it together, that would be great. Along with our full year intern program, we would like to do the full school year intern program. We would like to do a very intensive program in the summer session. And that would be great. So,
Yeah.
I missed
So we're
anything?
still early in the program for sure, but Angelia has just come on board and she's hit the ground running, as you can tell. So very happy to have her on board. And one other thing about our connection that Angelia made with KHQ, they actually own 10 stations. So there's quite a few jobs potentially there. So it was really great to meet with them and have them be excited and passionate about what we're trying to do. So.
And the library also, we had a meeting yesterday with the library, and it's looking like that's going to be a very beneficial partnership for the interns.
With their new equipment set up there in studios. Yeah.
We also have Whitman County.
Yeah.
Is now part of the conversation.
That's right. Yes.
How many interns do we have?
Right now, we're looking at about 10 with an intensive program on the summer that would be maybe 4 weeks. And that's where we could engage with educators as well. So.
I'm curious about the qualification. Because there are a lot of.
No, we're still working on that.
Video editing classes that.
Yeah.
I mean, could be of interest of a graduate senior.
Yeah. Yeah, we're, we're gonna have to make sure we don't bite off more than we can chew. So we're gonna have to be,
We would, yeah.
pretty specific about those things. Yes, I know you do.
How we can grow the program. How we can create collaboration between you all in this valley, I'm sure other districts as well, right?
Yeah.
But come into the classroom, get some time in classes so that those kids know this is a possibility, this is a certain level.
Yeah. That's exactly what we'd like to do. Yeah.
And our conversations about how we reach the rural schools too.
Yes.
It's easy for us to do, not easy, but easy with proximity, right? East Valley,
Yeah.
Central Valley, Spokane, but how do we reach the Whitman County students or the Colville students, right?
Exactly.
Northport, right? Like,
We'll just program. right?
Yeah.
Right.
Access to, like, access to.
access to it.
Mhm.
Because those regions, we can't get them in KHQ.
No.
right? So what does that look like? So trying to figure out the equity of doing it with our schools without the proximity to
it's-
what we have here.
It's tricky with virtual, but at the same time in our industry, it's gone the same way as desktop publishing. So, it's, you can do a lot of desktop video but you still have to know what you're doing. So, yeah, there's a lot of potential for remote work, remote education there. And it's also one of the options for our intensive summer program is to make it worth the drive for some students and educators as well. So.
In terms of the video editing and photography, it's amazing how many students already know how to do that, especially with TikTok now. Just on the side, I know probably a couple dozen businesses that would love even just high school students, a part of that internship program, to help teach them how to use TikTok and how to use social media. And then have that mentorship for you guys on, hey, this is how this should look. Rolling this product out to that business. So
One of your trades company that I know struggles with marketing because they're too busy working.
Yeah.
Right, so not very good at marketing and stuff, I'm trying to have a younger individual that can come in and just.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and you put your finger right on the growth of our industry. It's not vertical growth in television stations. It's horizontal growth in every industry, every company large enough to have a marketing department.
So very small people know about, small number of people know about the central library here and the video equipment and the podcast room and stuff.
Yeah.
I utilize that, and every time I go to book it, it's completely free and I can book whenever I want. So
Yeah.
having most students know, like, hey, I can start a podcast or I can start to do video shoots and you know, having that connected to you guys, I think would be super awesome. So
Yeah.
One of our conversations too, when you said TikTok, immediately went to one of our conversations about, there's an ethics side to it too.
There is.
And morals and values and we want to bring that to the table as well. I've seen many a video that I should have never seen. So, it's also talking about that with media.
Yeah, we're building that
And
into the
building that
curriculum.
into the curriculum.
Yeah. And being able to produce a video for YouTube is one thing, being able to produce a good video for YouTube is quite another. So, you know, we know there's students with the passion, and that's fantastic because it has to start with that. We all know that, but we want to take them to the next level.
With the Career Explorer Northwest, that might be a good avenue, and I don't know if maybe it already is, but the apprenticeship stuff where you guys are going in and introducing this website to students, but putting and posting or having an apprenticeship portion of it where people know to.
We actually was talking with
in
my
the plan.
website person
Yeah.
this morning.
Well, because they were talking about how it's impossible to,
Sure.
but you guys have a great platform to show.
Yeah, thank you. I think, you know, what we're, from our last advisory council meeting came out. And so we've been working with Abby. Abby is our website person to build in on each career when applicable. For example, we just did the pharmacy tech position at Chaz. And they, you know, Chaz has a pharmacy tech apprenticeship program. So how do we, you know, how can we link and make sure that not only do they see the video and say, oh, that looks like a cool job, I'd be interested in that. How do I get to there? Oh, look at that apprenticeship program. And so having those links and, you know, in your face and accessible. So we're rebuilding the website a little bit to accommodate for that exact kind of thing.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you for the update and good idea and connect there. And I will be connecting with all you program builders to make sure that we're including the right kind of marketing or information about the programs in the newsletters and stuff going forward to help get the word out. So you'll be hearing from me. Thanks for all the work you're doing, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll be hearing from a few other partners awarded in our region for this round 9 later this month. So we'll keep you posted on that. This slide, we kind of already talked about work in motion, work going on. Again, you'll get a copy of all of this. So for sake of time, I'm just going to kind of fly through these last few things. These are a couple of statewide updates from the Career Connect Washington team. You saw my email, hopefully, that they did receive a Good Jobs Challenge award for $23.5 million through the American Rescue Plan. We were one of, I think it was 32 awardees across the country. There was 509 applicants. So that's really exciting for our state. And we're still staying tuned of how that money will be distributed through kind of the CCW system, but we'll keep you in the loop on that. Sector intermediaries, I know I kind of briefed it earlier, but this is just more information. It's kind of a newer bucket of the CCW system, but they are focused statewide. And so this is a list of all, I know it's kind of small, but again, you'll get a copy of this. This is a list of all that. I think there's about 9 or 10 different sector intermediary leads now across the state. And just sharing this in case you are connected with any of these partners in your other various realms. The agriculture, life sciences, and education ones at the very bottom were just recently awarded. We're excited to see that the Ag and Natural Resource Center of Excellence based at, I think it's Walla Walla Community College, was just awarded. So that's really exciting to see kind of on the east side of the state too. These are a couple of snippets of the program directory. I know I mentioned earlier, but this is what it looks like online for students, families, community teachers to go on and search for opportunities. I'll include the link again in the email, so it's directly viewable for all you guys. But this is what it looks like. It's embeddable on websites as well. So if this is something that your team at the school or in industry would like to kind of think about including on your future ready or post-secondary kind of pages, that's an option. So we can kind of help get that set up if that's a helpful tool. The really neat thing I think about this directory is that they were really intentional of including an integrated database of wraparound supports too. Because we know it's not just connecting to opportunities, but a lot of students and families and community members need wraparound supports, of course, and it's trying to leverage all of the great organizations and nonprofits here and across the state that are doing fantastic work all in one place. So I think that's a really important component of this tool as well. Okay, last but not least, we have a few more meetings scheduled throughout the end of the year. For those that are maybe new, we've kind of decided to, instead of meeting as a whole region every month, we break it out into 3 subregions because our region is so large, so that we can get a little bit down and more focused into each community's kind of efforts and challenges and conversations. So we have our Panorama North meeting next month in October, and then we go down south to the Palouse area in November, and then we'll come back here in Spokane, Lincoln counties in December, and then all meet again as a region in early 2023 in January. So we have a host for the Palouse one down in November, but if anyone would like to host for our Tri-County or our Central Spokane meetings, please let me know. That'd be great, just to kind of mix up location meetings, and we'll do our best to offer all of these hybrid as well, same as today's meeting.
You realize nationally